Hey guys, if you like to party and the stock block is what you're trying to go fast on, we have a new brand for you here, Stock Block the World. Go to the link in the video and support us. It should eventually lead to t-shirts, hoodies, and other apparel. I want to give you guys another update on the wiring. Friday night I sat down and started on a little bit and then worked on for about 11 hours on Saturday, and then today's Sunday a couple hours. Finally got my head wrapped around it. I was just having some major brain farts, really stupid. I'm not sure why I was struggling, but you know, once I got in that groove Friday, this whole weekend wasn't too bad. Just time consuming because it's super tedious. As you can tell, we got some aluminum stuff on there. Relays are wired, minus a couple pins that are missing. I got to order some more pins for those. What I had ordered doesn't work, and so got to order some other stuff. Got all that done right there. The tire temperature sensor is going to go back there in the middle of the tub. Let's see if you can see there. But shifter, trans brake button wired up. I'll melt that once I make sure I know where the wires go through it. This right here is a transmission sub harness, and it took a good hour and a half. Basically we got charge pressure, transmission pressure, and pan temp, and it's a little 6-way bulkhead, only using 5 of them, but that is going to be connected to that up here. It'll get its power and ground off of that harness, which looks terrible right now, but it'll get cleaned up, and then of course the inputs will go over here. So you can see I got there's 3 trans inputs left, along with drive shaft speed, bump, and left shock, and that should take care of that. So I'm hoping, and it's still on a groove on Tuesday night, I can get most of that, if not all that, knocked out, and then whenever the relay stuff comes in, get taken care of. Finally, I feel like I'm moving along with that. Still haven't got the heads back yet, and also is working on the head gaskets. So hopefully we get that stuff. I think Sammy next weekend is going to do some more sanding and finish the body work, and then we should be able to get to the body shop. Trying hard to make lights out, so let's see if it can happen. It's been a couple days or a week. I don't know when the last time I actually updated. Been super busy. I have been working on the car though. Been putting in a lot of time. Mostly just coming in early and stayed late on Tuesday like usual, but let me kind of show you where we're at. Made a ton of progress on getting the chassis done, and basically besides terminating the power and ground side of things, it should be good to go, assuming it's right, which it better be. You can see here, we got all that there. Obviously I have things like connectors, and they have labels on the connectors as well. Not just Sharpie, but actual labels. Let me switch hands. So the loom on the big loom, they sent me the wrong stuff, and I need to get it done, so I had to improvise. I'm not a fan of it, but at the moment I just gotta have it done. So you can tell I got that left to clean up. These right here got an extra ground and sensor 5-volt if needed for later. Still got terminate, like I said, some grounds. That's a dump ground and things like that. The board right here, minus the battery wires, it's done. So where we are at, today is the 6th. Lights out is going to be in February 28th, 25th to 28th. Point is, I basically have 2 more Saturdays to get this thing ready to go. So I thought about it. Going to keep the car white for now. Ideally, the goal was to come back from Georgia, and take it back apart. Which honestly, a race car is not a big deal. So that's the plan. So I'm going to finish wiring it. Still waiting on the Aussies for the head gaskets. I did order some other head gaskets just in case those don't make it. That I have as backup. Hopefully I don't have to use them, because I definitely feel a lot more confident in what the guys over at Enemies Racing Australia are making me, opposed to what I got. But I'd really get something on there at least, and I still go on the dyno first anyways, so that way I can I'll run it through the ringer there, but that's still nothing compared to the actual track. I'm trying to think if I got anything else. I want to say I think that's it really. The wiring and the engine, the short blocks together. Heads are back. I forgot about the heads. They're back. You can see here we got the heads are filled now. I'd say roughly it's about a 4-pound difference per head, which makes me think that the block itself should be heavier and my scale is stupid. So it's also a possibility. Sorry, man, I've been up since like 2:30 this morning, so I'm kind of forgetting things. But yeah, so that's where I'm at. I'm gonna try to get this wiring terminated. If I have enough energy, I'm gonna get the long block, rough. Well, I should say I'm gonna put the heads on the block with some mock-up gaskets and some stock bolts, a couple, just so I can set it in there and start taking my measurements for my engine harness side. Once that's in there, I'll be able to move to the next part, the next big thing, time-consuming thing. And I don't think it'll take near as long with the chassis, just because the chassis, integrating all the relays and everything. And like I was having major brain farts when I was doing it because I was not working on it straight. And when I do that, whenever I work on this thing, my brain's always 10 other places when it should just be on it. But this is how I operate, and it's really stupid. So there we go. Let me see what I can get done tonight. Hopefully I stay as energetic as I want to. I have some UFC in the background, and hopefully that keeps me going. All right, guys, it's midnight here. Got the engine set back in. The heads are just on with mock-up gaskets for now, just so I can get the harness measurements taken. I'll do that later this week. Cody came over and probably there for moral support. As you see, the board's done here. Obviously no cables on the battery for now, but everything's ran and all that stuff. I'll double check everything, set the outputs up, make sure it's all working. But the interior looks a lot better now. Not near as much going on with the wiring loomed up and all the extra stuff cut out. Still a good bit to do, but hopefully everything will come together. But now I want to head home and get some sleep. What's up, guys? I'll shoot you guys an update. It's been about a week since, I guess it's Saturday, and it was last Saturday I basically finished up on the chassis side. I've been pulling some early mornings and late nights working on the engine harness. Kind of hard to see, but that's just terrible right now. But anyways, all the injectors are all done. It's a pain to pull out because I got the harness pulled over. Still working on the harness itself, but almost done. Cam crank, oil pump, fuel pump, and auxiliary injector, all that's left. Then of course, coils. I got these CDI coil mounts from Modern Racing, pretty awesome. The old mounts, we had something that was kind of made actually right here before, and it bolted to this hole you see, but these mounts are a little bit wider. So doing this right here just kind of makes things less cluttered, and had to make custom wires anyways, so I just went ahead and did that. Now what I'm going to do is get back on the engine harness. It's so close, so I spent a lot of late nights this week. Well, a couple, and then early mornings. It's crazy how long this stuff takes. If you ever go to get your car wired and someone tells you, 60, 70, 100 hours, especially once you factor in the engine harness, that really drives it up. And of course, the amount of inputs and outputs you have and stuff. But anyways, point is, it takes forever. There's a lot of thought process. There's a lot of trying to think ahead so you don't terminate some ends and put your connector on just to realize you left some heat shrink off and stupid stuff like that. And of course, trying to get all your links right. I haven't built an engine harness in a long time. The last time I did one was back when I was racing my first gen Neon. And it was all right. I have a lot better tooling now and a lot more knowledge than I did way back then. It's not something I'd be willing to sell to somebody. Back then it wasn't. It was just good enough to get it going. But all that aside, this thing's coming along. Another thing is, I don't think our head gasket is going to be here by the time. My goal, if I could hear this thing make noise today, I'd be ecstatic. But that's also assuming I'm not going to find any wiring surprises. But I ordered these head gaskets right here the other day. Let me turn this around. So these are not Athenas, but as you see, these SCEs, these are 80,000 thick, pretty thick, bit thicker than usual. These have a metal stainless ring built in around the chamber there. You can kind of see this separation in the gasket right there. So instead of marring up the deck, it just compresses that steel ring when it torques down. It didn't have a lot of options on what was in stock, so that's why I had to go. I probably could get the 72,000 has been okay, but I couldn't find those in stock anywhere. If the ones get here from Australia before lights out, then I'll probably switch them honestly. But I just want to get this thing running. Another cool thing, I guess you can see it here, but BTR shaft rocker kit. And those are just some used rocker arms that we had in the back. We cleaned up. So we're going to try this out as well. There is there's a lot of power in valve train stability. You obviously, as you can imagine, you're going to get deflection in the valve train. That's why thicker push rods come in handy. In some situations, more robust rockers. We've never had issues with the stock ones. That's why we always run them. But this right here, it's a lot more robust setup in the factory deal. So should help with valve train deflection, and ideally, would be cool, to help it back up a little better. Which the converter may not like that. So anyways, let me get grinding here, try to get this harness done so I can start trying to put the oil pump and everything else in. That head is on, BTR shaft rocker kit is on. The only thing about these types of head gaskets is you do have to heat cycle them and then retorque them, so that's kind of annoying, but it's a race car, so everything is going to be like that. Engine harness is done. As you can tell, I shorted myself a little bit on the heat shrink up there by the connector. I'm going to try to find something maybe big enough that will shrink down over that, and then I'll be pretty happy with everything. Coils are wired on this side. Took a little bit longer than I expected, once again, because everything does. But that side's done. Still got to do this side right here. And John went and touched up the Chinese headers because we had put EGT bungs in them, and that area stayed nice and black, but where they were coated from them looked horrible actually, and we didn't even realize it looked that bad until John was cleaning them up to coat them again. But there's that, and also got these Cunningham Motorsports pieces for the blowdown tubes. Instead of having 4 things, I'm going to cap those off. Well, one will have a fitting or a sensor for pan vacuum, but we'll just have that. And also, that way after a pass, it'll be easier just to disconnect one side and then hook a vacuum to it and pull the heat and moisture out of the motor. Help keep the oil cleaner and cool the car down faster, which not having water, is a big deal. So that's where we're at. Gonna pill for a little bit longer, but long days, hoping to be a little bit further, but I always think things will take as long as they will. Update, guys, this is Sunday. I came in for a few hours today. Got the other head on, got the shaft rocker system in, intake manifolds bolted on. We got the oil temp sensor for the EGT4, air temp sensor. I'm going to be curious on the readings now, which is in the back of the manifold opposed to the charge pipe, so close to the injector, the auxiliary injector. Got the oil pump in, the front cover, so you need to get the manifolds on and charge pipe and go and fuel lines and go over some wiring. Make some wires. Got the modern racing coil mounts on here, and still got some stuff to terminate inside the car as far as power and ground goes. Once again, everything takes forever, but we are getting there. Hoping to next 2 days, between some early mornings and some late nights, I can get this thing fired up. Do have to retorque the head of these head gaskets after a heat cycle, so I'll be sure to do that as well before we put it on the dyno. And I don't need a lot of dyno time, but I just need to tweak the new injectors. If I hadn't changed injectors, I wouldn't even put it on the dyno, to be honest. But that's where we're at. Alright, so I'll update you guys here later and next couple days, and hopefully we'll have a video of it running soon. As you guys saw from the cell phone video, because I had forgotten my camera was in my truck and it was pouring down rain, we got the car running. Man, what a relief. A lot of rewiring. So to get it to fire off, relatively simple. It felt good, and engine seems heavy and all that other stuff. With these head gaskets, we have to retorque them. So I'm in here early again. You got to pull the rockers out and then kind of lay the sorry, it's early and I'm stupid right now. The manifolds back a little bit to get the torque wrench in there. But anyways, glad it's running. Still got a few things to go over, but it's getting close. Hopefully between the rest of the day and if I have to at lunch, I can get the car ready so I can get on the dyno tonight. I don't need much time on the dyno. I just need to line out the fueling a little bit with these larger injectors. If it wasn't even for the injectors, I wouldn't even probably go on the dyno, honestly. But I just want to get things kind of lined out a little bit just to make sure. But that's where we're at. So let me get started on this thing and try to get these heads retorqued before we open up. Here we are, guys. When did that update last? That's right, I updated this morning. God, man, it's just running together. So it's Tuesday evening. On yesterday, I got the wiring squared away. I had some different stuff coming for the blowdown tubes, or whatever you want to call them, but it's delayed because of all the weather up north, so I can't get the pan vac sensor on there either for now. But just we need to get on the dyno, make sure everything's good to go. Definitely got some tweaking to do on the injectors as far as cold start and stuff like that, but let's just get through this. I'm tired. I'm not even trying to make 1,000,000 horsepower. Just give me a cool 1,000, and I'll be happy. I'll go to the track and finish it from there. But I guess we just gotta see how it does and make sure everything looks like it's supposed to. I know I left a lot out today. Just didn't have time, and just been running around and everything else. Always an excuse. But anyways, that's what I got to do. I have to get this thing going, so I'm going to get you guys some videos, and hopefully it doesn't let any of us down. Alright guys, dyno update. I really didn't get you any videos because they sucked. Car was spinning. It was just rough to get any real data, but I was able to get data. We got the fuel map a little lined out. I think it's a good, decent start. And really just need to get to the track from here. I might show the one pull I got a decent. But you see there's oil there. These tubes are temporary. Due to the winter storm, stuff hasn't showed up that I overnighted yesterday. So oil leaking on the firewall, valve covers. That's why you see so much smoke at the end of a pull, burning off everything. Power, definitely made more power last time, but the car was hooking a lot better. Boost is coming a little more progressive. It seems like it has more mid-range now, which is really weird. I'm curious to see how that plays out the track. Probably just cause wheeling issues and make everything difficult. We got to start over. Hopefully all my fittings get in the next day or two, but that way we can get the pan vacuum hooked up and all that stuff. Still got to get the car plotted out. We weighted earlier, pretty much weighs, if not a little bit more than last year. Hoping to weigh less, but for one, primer itself does add weight. Heads are a bit heavier. Block is heavier, and I swear it's heavier than 4 pounds the more I think about it, because it doesn't make sense, and I think my scale was being stupid. So I'm picking up some blocks from the, well then again it won't matter. So I said picking up some blocks, I'm getting the mains pin, but they're still going to read different because I think the other one read too light after we got it filled. But happy. I got some bolts and stuff to go over, check everything, need to get this thing tightened up, stuff like that. But glad, this is the first time the car's ever ran sequential. It's always been on LS3 coils with wasted spark. Now it's on the modern racing stuff, and the modern racing mounts with Fuel Tech spark and CDI coils. I want that because even though I never had issues, I just it's got to be better, and also can run the car a little bit richer, which they say honestly methanol. Some guys will tell you methanol will go faster if you run it richer, and so having that spark system there to ignite it is the way to go. But that's where we're at. Just got some things to clean up, and assuming we don't find anything abnormal, should be good to get on the Georgia next week. Another update, guys. It's Wednesday night. I was actually able to sleep in this morning since the car survived the dyno and all that stuff. So here a little bit ago when we closed, I started on the breather tubes. The other ones, like I showed last night in the video, they sucked. So this is what I ordered, some Vibrant hose, very flexible. It has a little spot in it, but I think under pressure it should. I don't think it causes any issues. And if it does, I'll know when the rear main seal blows out. But it looks a lot better. And the other ones, they were just a little too big and they leaked everywhere. The guy who ordered the fittings, that'd be me, ordered the wrong stuff there. So I'm gonna try to see if I can find some plugs local just so it looks better on that. I still need to get the trans diaper on. Should have put it on before the dyno, but I was in a hurry and tired and whiny. And I was like, why worry about that? Even if it was to break, it would hurt real bad and I'd probably be whinier. So I need to do that. I need to get the engine diaper on, the skid, not skid, but I hope not, the lower belly pan on the transmission as well. And so that I'm trying to get it to where when Saturday rolls around, the only thing that's left is to just plot the suspension and maybe get the trailer cleaned out and get it ready. But yeah, looking forward to getting some rest tonight. I'm still tired, man. I've been grinding at this for weeks now, it feels like, and I'm old and I need to work out more so I could have more energy or something. But yeah, so that's where we're at now, though. I'm going to keep pecking away at little things and try to get this old huzzy ready to roll down the track. So Friday night, I missed the car for a little bit. Today we not really today, but this morning and stuff, got the valve covers resealed around the flanges because they were leaking. They have an O-ring on the bottom of these pieces, but this it's not very pronounced, and this right here has kind of a texture to it anyways, so it just doesn't seal very good. So we put some RTV on there and checked over the BTR shaft rocker kit, and everything was still good there as far as bolt tightness goes. Down here, draining the transmission fluid. I'm going to pull the transmission out. There's an oil leak at the rear plate. Cody put that on, so I'm blaming him. And then the front pump seal's leaking on the trans. And we kind of had to do some funky stuff with the converter spacing as far as it being out further than we like, which I think is what's causing the front pump leak. So I'm going to yank the trans, put a new front pump seal in, see if I can figure out how to extend the spacer on the converter a little bit. And it's not really on the converter, but the one that goes into the back of the flywheel or crank, and maybe even look at the tail shaft and see, because I think the bushing might be a little wired out in it. Turns out I am a liar, and it came out easier than I thought. I've already readjusted the bolts on the cover. What helps in the future for you guys to do this, just kind of snug on the lower bolts a little bit, and then tighten your other ones up, and then just recheck your bottom ones. Just snug them up a little more. Those guys are pretty thin, so don't get crazy with it. I just gotta clean it off some more, so I'll do it in the morning. But that explains why I was getting the oil leak there to the right side of the oil pan. Converter, still gotta pull it out. I'll do it tomorrow morning, and I'll get that front pump out, seal out, that is. And then I gotta work on the spacer, because our spacer is a little funky for some reason, and I feel like I need to make the spacer longer so we can get the converter into the trans as deep as it needs to go. We got the trans back in this morning, adjusted the rear cover like I showed you last night, new front pump seal, and the converter spacer was a little short, so we put a different one in there, and I think that's better now too. So I think that's why the front pump was leaking, was because the converter was pulled out a little far. The pad height must have got changed a little bit after we burned it up at the first testing session last year. Anyways, now what we're doing, Mr. John here, is just going over the suspension again. Just verifying the anti-squat. It worked really good last year. As far as out in Georgia, and then afterwards we just never really got a good track to test again on. It's like the only thing we changed is the drive shaft, but the drive shaft did require us to lower the coilovers, and we're just kind of checking to see where we're at now. The tracks weren't too superb, so it wasn't really a fair comparison, but easier to check this now than at the track. Alright, so as you saw a minute ago, we were checking the instant center and all that stuff out. Basically the same as last year, which worked really good in Georgia. We do have different springs on. John wanted to try something different last year, which seemed to work good on a good track, but didn't give us a lot of room on a marginal track. And you know, there could have been some other variables too, so we can't blame that. But we put some other springs back on, and we'll have the other ones with us just in case we have a big wheelie issue. Did notice that the pinion angle was a bit off from where we want it, so adjusted it as well. Another thing is, let me get a light out here. I don't know if I need one. Let me see. Can you see that? Not very well. My phone's slow. There's so much crap on it. Whatever, doesn't matter. Point is, that's a tire sensor, temperature sensor. That sensor is made by Low Dollar Motorsports, and it calibrates, you know, really well into the Fuel Tech stuff. It reads ambient like it's supposed to right now. So what I'm looking for with that data is I'm actually going to set a little notification up on my Fuel Tech. So when I do a burnout, I will have an LED illuminate when I get to my desired tire temperature right before it, because there'll be a slight delay, and I'm sure I'll figure out how much to sway it one way or another through experience. But that'll help us with, you know, if it's a hot day, we don't need, you know, that'll help us with tire temp, you know, with consistency, because these tires, you know, they're going to have an ideal area they work depending on track temperature and stuff like that. So if we can kind of get some data off of this stuff and figure out what works good, you know, it'll help us be consistent in these situations, because in the end, you know, data is everything. So the more we got, the better. And as much as I do this as a hobby, you know, I'd like to get better and win some things. I know I'm not going to win Pro 275, but you know, local stuff would be cool to win, even though we're in the big dog classes nowadays. Hopefully you can hear me. Last thing to do before we let on the trailer, which won't be for a couple more days, but I just got to make sure that it bumps in on the two-step. I didn't change anything but the wiring, so you know, just got to make sure that's working correctly, and otherwise we're good to go. Looks like we're good to go, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and wish us luck in Georgia.